As promised, on the phone line with us is Sean Conway, Weld County Commissioner. Sean, thank you for taking a few minutes of time this afternoon and escaping out of a meeting to talk with us for a few minutes. But I wanted to get a wrap-up from you on yesterday's events in Akron. How did you see yesterday's meeting as it pertained to at least trying to get something accomplished to get the Colorado legislature's attention?
Well, Troy, first of all, thanks for having me on, and sorry I was calling in a little late. I'm down here at a South Platte Roundtable meeting, and we're working on the statewide water implementation plan, so stepped out for a few minutes. Troy, I thought yesterday's meeting in Akron went great. When the Weld County Commissioners first approached other counties about this idea that had been brought to us by our citizens about looking at the creation of a 51st state, we really didn't know how much interest and support there would be for this. And what has happened it's hard to believe, it's only been a little over a month when the Weld County Commissioners at the annual Colorado Counties Incorporated meeting over in Keystone brought this forward to a group of 10 counties. Has this discussion really evolved? And it's hard to believe it's only been a month. But I think yesterday was a continuation of a process of trying to address what is a real problem. And it isn't a problem that just started this year. I think the actions by the legislature this year in terms of so many bills, in fact, impacting agriculture, energy, highway transportation, K through 12 funding, I think that was kind of the culmination of something that's been, quite frankly, building for a number of years. And so yesterday's meeting was an opportunity for us to get together after our initial meeting in June, give feedback from what we're, taking it to the public and seeing what kind of reaction. And, we had a huge turnout. We had over 70 people there. We had commissioners from 10 counties, Colorado counties, and we had commissioners from 4 other counties that wanted to be there, but their schedule wouldn't allow them. So our movement continues to grow. I think there's an ongoing dialogue on how best to really bring what has been absent as Colorado's urban corridor. I don't know if a lot of people realize this out here, but 90% of the growth, Troy, along the Front Range in Colorado has been in the 6 major metropolitan counties over the last 10 years. And it has profoundly changed the makeup of the Colorado General Assembly. You're literally, if you look at the newest map of redistricted House and Senate seats from last year, it's astonishing. Literally, rural Colorado is down to 5 seats, which comprises 60% of the land mass in the state of Colorado. And people feel disenfranchised. They feel ignored, and they want change. And so what the meeting yesterday was a further process by which we try to come up with solutions. I do think there are a number of counties that want to press forward with the 51st state idea. I know several counties are going to go forward and put it on the November ballot. But this new idea, which was advanced by Phillips County, which essentially would change the makeup of one of the bodies in the General Assembly, the House or the Senate, where you would provide each county at least one representative, I think is gaining speed. And quite frankly, I've heard a lot of good feedback today. But I still think there are a lot of folks out there that want, I know in terms of emails and phone calls I've received today, want us to continue on the path of discussing the possibility of a 51st state. And
yet the article, as it was presented in the Denver Post today by Adrian Garcia, says lack of public support for secession and a 51st state. Well, you must not have been at the same meeting I was at or heard I asked a question and asked for a show of hands. Right. The simple question, which was properly reported, I believe, in the Greeley Tribune, in which every hand went up in the room saying, yes, there is a problem. Yes, we need to continue to talk about this in terms of this. And so I believe that
there's still a lot of interest in having us look at this 51st state idea, but I think the Phillips County idea is certainly something that may be more pragmatic, more easily achieved, and I think that is the continuation of the dialogue. You know, what's amazed me, Troy, in this whole debate is, we're simply asking the question of what are people's opinions of this, and in some quarters the absolute reaction to quelch any debate, any discussion on this has been astonishing to me. I mean, we're having a dialogue, we're having a discussion, and quite frankly, we're giving an outlet to people who are very frustrated and angry at state government right now, an opportunity to have a participatory role. And I think it's a very healthy exercise in terms of representative democracy.
Another question I had regarding that meeting, though, was the same thing, going back to the Denver Post here for a moment and Garcia's article today. The discussion saying that they were unhappy with laws passed during the legislative session earlier this year, including stricter gun laws, civil unions for gay couples, and new renewable energy standards created by Senate Bill 252. That's the direct verbiage of what he put in the Post today. I have a problem with that because I've got a feeling that that's the first time that civil unions has even been mentioned in the conversation.
I don't even think it was mentioned at yesterday's.
Thank you.
I remember. I think that's an editorial comment by a reporter who clearly, I think, was, thrown into a situation. I met him. He's a very nice young man. But that's not the same. I mean, if you compare the two stories, I think Annalisa and the Greeley Tribune did a great job in terms of really outlining how the meeting went, and was much more factually based. But in terms of civil unions, our focus, has been primarily on transportation, K through 12 education, water storage. I mean, we've outlined a whole series of things. And you know what, Troy, what's amazing to me is how a number of the press fail to really recognize, and I don't want to generalize or stereotype, but there are a number of folks, particularly in the Denver media, who fail to recognize what's going on in this state. Their world is bounded by 120th on the north and Arapahoe County Road on the south and Golden on the west and essentially Commerce City on the east. And, I mean, you look at what's happening in the state politically right now. 55 of the elected sheriffs, 62 elected sheriffs, a bipartisan group. It isn't all Republicans. It isn't. It includes Democrats, including Adams County, one of the largest Democratic counties, the Adams County Sheriff in the state. When you look at, for the first time in our state's history, 2 state senators being recalled, including the president of the state Senate, and the dialogue that 10 northeastern counties are having about the possibility of looking into creating a 51st state. If I was in Denver, I'd be wondering what's going on in the state of Colorado right now. There seems to be a lot of consternation and unhappiness, and what's driving that, and why? What is the root cause behind that? And you and I know what the answer to that is.
Right.
People feel politically disenfranchised. They feel ignored. They participated in the political process, and quite frankly, they were told, "We really don't care what you say or try to address those concerns." And I will tell you, everybody in that room was talking about those issues as opposed to what maybe the Denver Post reporter wanted to put in the story.
Sean, one more question for you here, and I'll let you get back to your meeting, and that has to do with just clarifying something. I was struck by one of the commenters on the Post article saying that the majority of the road money in the state actually goes to provide for county roads, and I wanted you to, yeah, I know exactly that gets into how uneducated the urban corridor is about the issues, really.
Well, I have termed a new phrase, and I'm hesitant to use it, but I know no other way to describe it, and I call it the new urban ignorance. Folks in the city think that they are providing or subsidizing the rural areas of this state, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. I would just answer your question in terms of the road money with one simple question. Which county in the state of Colorado, or which governmental entity, I should better put it, is building a new 4-lane highway in the state of Colorado? Not CDOT, not the Denver metro area. It's Weld County. It's Weld County Road 49. We're spending $25 million over the next 3 to 5 years to build the only new major transportation corridor in the state of Colorado. And that's being done at the county level because the state doesn't have money to do it. We are subsidizing the counties. Let me just give you some basic numbers. 70% of the money that's being currently raised by the State Lands Board, which is given the responsibility of raising the money for K through 12 education in the state of Colorado, is coming out of Weld County alone. If you add in the other northeast counties, Yuma and some of the others that are oil and gas producing, it's over 80%. So it's this part of the state, northeastern Colorado, that is supporting K through 12 education for the state of Colorado. Oil and gas production, 80% of the oil and gas production in the state of Colorado, which is driving this economy in the state of Colorado. You take away oil and gas in this state's in a depression. It's not in a recession. And you don't have to look very far, because we all went through that after Bill Ritter's war on oil and gas a few years ago, in which companies pulled up stakes and left the state, and we ended up with 10 and 11% unemployment, in some counties as high as 15 and 16%. What kind of impact that would happen on the state? There's one of the positive aspects, whether you agree or don't agree, that there should be a 51st state. One of the things, the benefits that will come out of this is an educational process to our urban neighbors to the south primarily, who believe they are subsidizing our way of life when it's the other way around. We're producing $3 billion worth of agricultural products in terms of impact in terms of the economy, which is the third highest impact in the state's economy. Tourism's number one, energy is number two, agriculture is number three. Where is energy and agriculture being produced in the state of Colorado? It's being produced in these 10 counties. These 6 of these 10 counties are the top agricultural producers in the state of Colorado. So that's a $3 billion economic impact, and I haven't even touched the energy sector. Tom Clark with the Denver Chamber of Commerce says the Weld County energy sector in the Colorado economy alone has allowed the state unemployment rate to be 1% below than what it currently is. Who is providing the jobs? Who is providing the economic stimulus? And who is subsidizing whom? And I think that's a good educational discussion to have. You
know what I call those people? While you refer to them as the low urbanite, or however you put it there?
Urban ignorance. That's
urban ignorance. I call them music radio listeners.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. I like that.
Sean, thank you. I appreciate it. And please, those involved in your meeting, please apologize to them for me as well.
Oh, no need for apologize, Troy. Let me just tell you the next steps in the process for your listeners. The Weld County Commissioners are probably, over the course of the next 3 to 4 weeks, going to have a number of community meetings. We will get that out publicly within this week. In terms of where those meetings will be, they will be all over Weld County. I know other counties are going to have public meetings, so the public can come out, whether they agree or disagree on the solutions we put forward, and participate in this process.
Great, Sean. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for the interest, Troy. Take care.
Weld County Commissioner Sean Conway on Advantage Bank's Evening Rush.